There are three Earth ages, and those three Earth ages definitely make us feel like or at least the first two, make us feel like we've lived for billions of years sometimes. um, you know, but we only live once in those three Earth ages. And how does it first start? It first starts like this. The first stage is you're with God. Everything's perfect. There's no separation. It's beautiful. You know, oneness with God, love, light, all the great things we could ever imagine and more. In our hearts, beyond what we can imagine, for God's ways and thoughts are higher than our ways and thoughts. In positive, good ways, and you're one with God, so therefore He's one with your thoughts, right? But we have to remember, after there's a second Earth Age, which was the fall of the angels, unfortunately, those thoughts became corrupt and were not so good, which led to the second Earth Age of the rebellion and the angels getting thrown down to the earth and creating a race of their own. The Nephilim, the giants, the mistakes of the fallen angels, their hybrid creations and devastations, which you now call mythology. And we all know about Noah and what happened and how God promised to never destroy the earth again with water. And He took all the animals, the beautiful friends and animals, upon the ark and kept them safe. And to this day, it's that one animal that was faithful that came back, the dove. Me personally, I love my doves that I have. Thank God. Anyway, on the second Earth Age, almost all of the outer life forms landed back on land again. The ones that did get into the ark. And out of Noah, the 12 tribes of Israel came. 12 gates, 12 dimensions, as they say here on earth. You have 11 dimensions in your mind, and you would say the 12th gate would be like the 12th disciple, right? That leads you to Christ. And this, all the tribes on the earth all lead to the different gates upon the earth. There's 12 gates to heaven, 12 gates to hell that actually exist. And they say hell hasn't been made yet because the third Earth Age, that's when that will begin. But not till now. No more destruction of the earth among men, for the walls of the ice walls of Antarctica protect what's within here and the small oceans surrounding it. Although we might call them big because we just discovered, as scientists say, 5 oceans below the earth, and above is God's ocean, and we call that the firmament. It's the ocean above us. As the whole universe resides within inside of us, and the lower heavens and the worlds in between are all the creation. Where all the free will creatures of God choose to follow Him or to go against Him. And that's why He sent Christ, as a way to go to Him and have direct consciousness of Christ. And when we think of Christ, we think of wisdom. We think of even different religions know that He was wise. Someone call Him a prophet, but you that truly know Him call Him the Son of God, because He leads you to be one with God. And Christ was a messenger, and God is, the love that sent the messenger. And we look at Christ as love that leads us to home, right? So here in the second Earth Age, as the devastations of the giants, and we come to Noah's flood, and we come to knowing that there is 12 heavens and 12 earths and 12 tribes of Israel, and no matter what color you are, you're a part of one of those 12 tribes, usually on this earth. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other races, there's other beings. We all know that. We love those things. How many of you guys love your animals or love different creatures that look different, and they're just so beautiful to you? So, it's not like we're egotistical human beings over here. And, God loves you, my dear. Anyway, this is important, that he gave you free will before self-destruction, which is considered like the Garden of Eden, where they chose wrongly. And, and a third earth period was formed because Christ had to be the redeeming Adam to come back after the first Adam messed up. So that's why Christ said, I'm the first and the last sacrifice for Adam and his lineage, and there is none but me to come back home, which is, love. That's why you see so many people turning over to Christ right now, and they love him, because they know that Christ consciousness releases those 7 seals within themselves, which Revelation talks about, which leads you home to God. The 7 seals within yourself, you guys, it's more than just 7 chakras. I will tell you this, but it is related to your 7 chakras as it goes up. So, Jesus Christ, he overcame this. He overcame the lower worlds, the upper worlds. He didn't complain when he was on the cross, unlike so many of us humans complain. He didn't complain. I can sit here and tell you this, I don't even like myself when I complain. For real, I do not like myself if I'm complaining. And I love myself if I'm talking good about people that I, maybe even don't even know, that I think, wow, they're a beautiful person because they love God and they're just saying this and that, you know what I mean? So, and I value that. I'll even like a video because somebody's talking about Christ, and I can feel it. I can feel their heart. I know they're not, bullshitting me, and excuse the French. But I'm just telling how I see it, on my experience. So, anyway, Jesus Christ, before he died, he stopped billions of angels from destroying this earth altogether, because he was hanging on the cross, and they wanted to come down here and just annihilate this place. They were like, oh, no, you did not just do that to our messenger from heaven that is one with God and his Son, and taught you all to come be with God as one, back home. So they were about ready to destroy the earth, and what did Christ say to keep them from destroying the earth? He said this on the cross, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And the second earth age began. And be as it marked as the beginning of life and giving back for Christ's sacrifice. I did write something on this paper. The last sacrifice, he was the last sacrifice to ever covered in his own blood and came from the Spirit and back to God. He came from the Spirit of God back to God. And he taught us this is the way to do it, and there's so many things that were lost or not put in the Bible that Christ really wanted to say to us. Why would we just get his birth and all those years missing, right? I do have a book that fulfills some of those time periods when he wasn't preaching yet, but he was still preaching. He was with some people from India, Ginad and Ganid, and they personally were traveling with him, and Ginad was the father, Ganid was the son, and Ganid and him were walking around the marketplace, and as Ganid walked with Christ, Ganid asked, what is the world? How do you really see the world and what it's like to you through your eyes? And Christ said this to Ganid. He said, I see the world as... He heard a child crying in the background, and Jesus Christ, I hear the world like that crying girl over there who lost her mother and can't find her in the marketplace. That's how I see the world, right there. I see the world as a lost child searching for its father, its mother, not knowing how to get back to it, but knowing that you long for it in your heart, and you don't even realize you're separated till you turn around and realize they're not there. So, what Christ did, as an example of who he is, perfectly to all of us children, is he grabbed Ganid and said, come on, let's go follow the girl and talk to her. They talked to the girl and said, why are you crying, my dear? Because Jesus knew why she was crying, but went ahead and let her express herself anyway. My mother, I can't find my mother in the marketplace. I've lost her. I turned around and she was gone. And the mother at the same time was looking for her, not knowing where she was at. And Christ said, this is as the Father in heaven. He knows he misses his children, not knowing where they're, and he knows where you're at, but he doesn't know why you won't come to him, when you won't come back home to love, when you won't come back home to God. But nonetheless, he said the world is like this girl crying. So after they heard the girl's story, Jesus said, come, mother, I see your mom over here. Let's go. Let's go meet her, my dear. And as they reunited the child with the mother and saw them so happy with each other, he said, this is as our Father in heaven, as all man's sins are redeemed. He is happy with his children coming back home and just wants to hold them and hug them back home again. Happy that he found them and they found him. Both happy that they found each other and a real family. So, that spiritual family, as I said in another video, the reason why I consider and I see children crying in this world when they're born is because when we're born here, it's death in the spiritual, but birth in the physical. We become into the physical world from the spirit, which God has known us. And we were one with him before we came here. But when we die in the physical here, it's birth in the spiritual, and we get to go back home through Christ. That one path, that light, that way, the one lifetime that you got given through the 3 earth ages. Like I said, all those lifetimes you live could feel like that, but you know when it's your last, and this is the last. That's why it's like they say in the Bible, 144,000. Well, people they must have misread that somehow, because they're not the only ones that go to heaven. They're the ones that are one with God's will in heaven and wake the others up to go home to heaven. So God, there's an innumerable amount of the people that come home. You could not imagine how many that love God and God accepted back. So and it's to be one with him. Like I say, there's nothing that can stop you down here. The Argonauts, as they call them, or I call them Argonauts. But they have different things for them, different names for evil. They're demons. You can call them disembodied Nephilim. You can call them lots of different things, but they can't get to you. They can't mess with you, because when you take on the love and ask Christ into your heart and become one with your heart and to grow with you, that's sacred, and that's a real personal prayer, and it's better for you to have a personal relationship than to go around it's good to meet in church. I'm not going to say that. It's good to get together and love your family members in church, but it's more important that you have a personal relationship with God outside of church on a regular basis with the consciousness of Christ and love that and to be one with Him, right? So I did put down here because it's something I think is really important from my heart that I had written down, but I'm going to get to that here in a second. So anyway, the second Earth Age ends when we know, who we're going home with. And the third Earth Age begins. Now, as a really good man that I care about, an Irish preacher, Pastor Arnold Murray, is a good guy. He's a little bit stern because he's a Marine, or ex-Marine, but he teaches about the three Earth Ages too. I teach it in a different way, but everybody has their own way. But as long as you're staying close to God's Word and understand that, your first Earth Age was with God, as it is in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So your first Earth Age was with God, correct? Your second Earth Age was down here on Earth. And those who love Christ will make it to the third Earth Age. Now, I didn't say everybody will make it, because the